What is going on, people? Welcome to the Honor Level Podcast, episode 22. We're doing it solo today. We're doing it solo because I had a guest lined up, but due to personal reasons, they can't join this podcast. So I'm going to be doing it solo today. I'm going to be talking about two main topics. One of them, obviously, being the Grime clash send business that's going on with Wrighty and all of them, man. So we're going to be talking about that in depth, more so than I did my own reaction. And then towards the back end of this podcast, I kind of just want to address something a little bit more personal to me that I technically shouldn't, but Millwall, I have to address it for the whole of 5 man, really. And then I guess that's on record, and then anyone wants to DM me and ask me about it, I can just go like, yeah, just check out this part of the podcast. So I might do time stamps in the description or the comment section. I don't know, check below. Am I a good youth? And did I do timestamps today? If not, then make sure to comment below to remind me to do it, because I need to start doing this with podcasts. I feel like it will really benefit and help if I start doing things like that. So yeah, here we go. Wrighty sent for 4 man. Wrighty sent for 4 man, being Nerve, Chilling It, Shadow, and Wombat in that order. And it's caused a massive spark of controversy. It's caused a bit of talk. It's caused a bit of attention back on the Grime scene a little bit. You know, drill is a huge wave right now. Huge wave right now, especially in 2019. 2019 has been year of the drill scene and the rap groups in general. And so to see some attention coming on to Grime in the back end of 2019, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. If you want to hear my thoughts about the track in itself, I have a reaction already up on my channel, so maybe go check that first. I'll try and link that down in the description. I've got things to remember to do. You know what? Let me get a pen. Let me write some shit down right now. Timestamps. I'm good. I'm going to be good. I'm the most professional YouTuber that ever is and ever was. Timestamps and links. There we go. Right, we'll keep that in mind. So, go check that out first. That will be a good starting point if you really are interested in finding out everything about this. If you don't want to miss anything, go check that out. And so, yeah. So, Wrighty sends for 4 people. And we'll talk about what he said in the send in particular. We'll talk about Sunnah's involvement as well in all of this in more detail soon. So, I just want to talk about the build-up to this, really. Because there was no build-up. There was no thing that sparked it in particular. There was no singular comment. There was no singular action. Wrighty has kind of just made this out of the blue. I don't think anyone expected this. And because of that, it really caught people off guard. It's not like people were waiting for this to happen. It was what the scene needed without us even realizing it. I don't know if that's fair to say yet. That was a little bit of a hot take, but I feel like this can only be good for the scene. I feel like short term, there could be some negative impact on the artist for the simple fact of you have fan bases, you have hate thrown towards you, but I feel like medium and long term, this shit can only be good. For example, Wrighty's dropped this track and he's copped a shit ton of hate. People in DMs, probably, I don't know, but comment sections and things like that, you know, washed up and not relevant and you get the idea. Which every artist gets, some more than others. But, you know, he's copped hate. And it's understandable because he sent for 4 of the Oz's top dons. Let's be real. He sent for some of the top people in Oz. And I'm sure that he did that purposefully. You know, if he sent for, no disrespect to these artists, if he sent for, let's say, a Zephyr and a Saru and a Haz, for example. Yeah, massive, dope artists. Don't get it twisted, dope artists. But they don't pull in the numbers at the same as Wombat, Chilling It, Nerve, Shadow. That's a fair enough statement, I would like to say. And so I feel like he sent for the most popular people in terms of numbers anyway, because it just brings more attention onto the track itself and the statements that he's making. It's kind of just like free advertisement. For example, if I wanted to promote my album or something and I had stickers for it, I'm not gonna put it on a wall in the back of an alley for the whole man of 2 man to see. I'm gonna want to stick it, I don't know, on the front of Apple store in West End or some shit. I don't know. You kind of get what I'm talking about. It's like, I'm not saying anything is less than others, but where you put your attention, where you focus that message to, depends on how many people you can reach. And so I feel like he's purposely gone for these artists. Now, Fracture said recently on Instagram, well, we was talking with Fracture on the recent podcast episode, but he was saying on Instagram, Grime's not been dead, but it's been more quiet recently. And I don't know if it's been quiet recently or if it's just been massively overshadowed by the other waves that's going on in Australia right now. But I would agree that, yeah, it's been more quiet in recent times. How many grime tracks have really gone trending this year? How many grime tracks have really popped off? I mean, Chill obviously has done his UK shit with SBTV, Fire in the Booth, JDZ. And so I guess that was a moment, but in terms of grime tracks, how many things have actually gone off? They were more so freestyles and whatnot. And I know there's things in the works. Oz to UK. I know that Wombat's working with UK artists. I know Chill's working with UK artists. Shadow and Nerve have dipped their toes in that water as well. And so I know that there is things coming. I know there are things in the work, but are we going to see them? Now, Wrighty could be doing a massively beneficial thing for these, man. Because if he brings more limelight and attention on these man, when they then start putting out these tracks with UK Donnies, it only brings more attention to that music, right? Now, some people like to say any publicity is good publicity. I personally disagree. For me, on behalf of Chazza speaking on behalf of Charlie speaking on behalf of Chazza, I don't like that for the simple fact of I would rather 5,000 man love my track, or 5,000 man mainly have a positive response to my track, rather than 15,000 people check my track because I've dissed someone, but let's say 5,000 of those man hate it just because I sent for their favorite artist, if that makes sense. And so, but other people are happy. Views are views, money's money, innit? Like, at the end of the day, attention is attention on their content. And so I do see both sides of the spectrum. That's where I sit on it. I would rather have a smaller viewership but more positive fan base. Hence why I miss out on views for certain videos. There's certain videos that if I react to, yeah, it will bring in a shitload of views, but it's not in my interest. Either it's not going to be a true reaction, or I don't have much to say. That's happened. I've reacted to tracks recently and not part of the reaction because the reaction's dead. Like, I have nothing to say, whether it's nothing good or nothing constructive to say. I just don't like it. I have had that a couple times recently, hence why you might have not seen one of the tracks you've been screaming out for, and that's because, well, I just don't have much to say about it. But yeah, so the grime scene, it's in this place now where it could do with a kick up its own ass, and I feel like this is where it comes. Like, when we talk about a grime scene as well, there's a difference between an artist making a grime track and a grime MC. For example, Chillin' It has made grime tracks, but he's not a grime MC. Someone like Scotty Hines is more of a grime MC than most, but he's done tracks outside of grime. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, because you did one track back in the day that wasn't grime, you're not a grime MC. But, you know, who really champion that genre as their own? For example, Fracture will forever talk about representing grime. Yes, he's done tracks outside of that 140 BPM. Yes, he's done tracks outside of that grimy style, but he champions grime more than most other man I know. So I'm going to call him a grime MC. Someone like Haz is a grime MC. Why? Because the man champions grime itself. And so there's a difference between grime artists and grime MCs and people who do grime. I do grime, but I'm not a grime MC. Grime, no, however, is probably my strongest suit, in my opinion. In my own opinion, my best songs are when it is at that 140 BPM. So, yeah. Just think about that very, very carefully, because Wrighty sends for these, man. But I'd say all four of them, to a certain extent, aren't through and through grime MCs. Chillin' It the least out of the four, in my opinion. Probably Shadow being the most grime out of them all. And even then, Shadow recently has been experimenting with his sound. His recent EP, Cream, I was about to call it Shadow. His recent EP, Cream, definitely experimented with new sounds and styles. Nerve, exactly the same thing. He went less grimy on this one, as opposed to his EP with Wombat. You know, that was a grime EP. Was it called Survival? No, Survival was one of the tracks. Run That? Night Shift EP. There we go. I have to think about that one there. Yeah, the Night Shift EP, that was a grime EP from those, man. And then Wombat, yeah, Wombat's done mainly grime, but has also dabbled in other tracks. So Wrighty sends for these, man. I'm not going to play the track. Again, if you want to listen to the track, I strongly suggest you go listen to it. I strongly suggest you go watch my reaction to kind of just get an idea for what we're talking about here. But Wrighty goes for Nerve. Well, he opens up with his own bars, kind of generic bars, should you say. It could be aimed at anyone. It's kind of just... everyone writes that shit. But then he starts name dropping, which is important for me. Because if you are going at a specific person, I believe you should name drop. I believe that... you can diss a stereotype or a group of people, or I don't know, as I said, some sort of stereotype. I feel like you can do that and not name drop. I feel like if you are going at a specific individual, a specific person, I feel like you should name drop. And I'm glad that he did literally name drop all four very, very clearly as well. There was no indirects, there's no controversy about who it was. We very clearly know who he sent for. So Nerve, he didn't really go in on Nerve that hard. I mean, he says you roll with a top crew. I used to pick on man like you in year 10 or something like that, but he says roll with a top crew, and I feel like that's an important part because, you know, he acknowledges No One Network, I'm assuming. He acknowledges maybe Syntax Junkies he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about No One Network as a brand. And so, you know, that is the first bit of evidence of Wrighty not exactly hating Nerve. He's just calling him out. Nerve wants to talk about clashing and sending. All right, let's call you out. And so, yeah, I don't feel like there was much disrespect towards Nerve in any way, shape, or form, but the name was dropped. Then he moves on to Chillin' It, which I feel like has one of the most... it has the biggest talking point out of them all. He repeats the bars, Chillin' It, blue, but he stole that next man's flow. Come into a town near you. That's an A. tribute show. So A. just to clear up, some people didn't know who A. was. A. is Alex Jones, also known as Dr. Flea. And A. is obviously the counterpart to Sunnah, in which is LG's. And Sunnah featuring on this track. Again, we're going to talk about that, and I want to ask a couple questions. But yeah, you know, that is the counterpart to Sunnah, A. Flea. One of the best in the scene, in my opinion, and I can't wait for him to drop some music. Now, I don't know what track or tracks he's referencing. I don't know what flow he's referencing. I've listened to a shitload of Chin. I've listened to a shitload of A. Nothing jumps to mind off the top of my head. Am I saying this is true? No. But yes. But maybe. I don't know. Could it possibly be true? Yes. Is it true? I don't know. If someone can link me the track, or even better, make a video of a side-by-side comparison, then I'll give my own thoughts and opinion on that. But off the top of my head, I don't know a flow that he has stolen. Now, when it comes to stealing flows, it is a very tricky ground to step on. Because, of course, let's take a track of mine, for example. Let's take Point of View 4. I switch up plenty of flows in there. There's going to be at least one of those flows that sounds like somebody else in the world. Whether I know them or not, I most likely don't even know who they are. It could be someone in their bedroom. It could be someone with millions of views on the internet. Everyone is going to have a similar sounding flow to someone in the world. It's the same as you copied that bar. Somebody recently said, a couple people said recently, that Chillin' It stole Zephyr's bar from our track Scabs. On our track Scabs, in Zephyr's verse featuring Frax, he said, that's not Psycho. Wait, that drama ain't Psycho. My name ain't Dave, though. Referencing Dave's album Psychodrama, which is right here in the background. And then Chillin' It did an Instagram freestyle a few days ago, and he says a very similar bar of Psychodrama, but I'm not Dave, though. and rhymes it in the same way. And I feel like that's why people are saying they're copying the bar. But honestly, Dave just got an award for Mercury Prize Best Album of the Year. And it's a very popular artist with his first debut album. It's a very popular pop culture reference. It makes sense if people reference that. I guarantee in the next 3 months, you're going to hear multiple bars about Tekashi 6ix9ine snitching on man. It's a popular pop culture reference, and so more than one person is going to reference it. When Leicester City won the Premier League back in the 2015-2016 season, it was a popular pop culture reference. You know, there's going to be plenty. So that's a bit of a harsh one to say, because Chill probably heard the track. I don't know. Did he hear Zephyr's verse? Maybe. Did he attentively pay attention? I don't know. And so that's a bit harsh to say that he was copying it. But yes, when you do put the side-by-side comparison, you can hear where people are coming from. So it's a bit harsh when you talk about stealing flows or stealing bars. I don't know. Maybe if someone can make a video or some sort of clip, we'll judge it from there. But I don't know. That is a little bit harsh to go off of. That is a little bit harsh, to be fair. So then he moves on to Shadow. 2014 sounded like an Aussie. 2016 now sounds like a Pommy. I can see where he's coming from. And that's no disrespect to Shadow. Shadow, ever since I first heard, the first thing I said about him was he is the first Aussie that sounds closest to being from the UK. Like, if Shadow was from the UK, I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, would I say that Shadow's trying to be like someone from the UK? No. Do I know that Shadow's influenced by a lot of UK music? Yes. You pre his Instagram, he's most likely listening to some sort of UK rap, drill, grime, etc, etc, etc. I feel like it's very harsh to say that he's wanting to be a Pommy. I don't think that in any way, shape or form. But can I see where he's coming from in terms of sounding like someone from the UK? Yes. The only reason I say that is because when I first reacted to Shadow, I was like, oh shit, this guy could sound like he's from the UK. And that wasn't so much because of an accent, that was more so because of his style, you know? So nothing but love for Shadow. I fucking rate Shadow to the highest. I was really impressed with his EP Cream that he recently dropped. However, I can see where Wrighty's coming from a little bit more with that one, to be fair. And then Wombat, he says, Hobart is a town that's always cold, so Wombat lives indoors. I don't know if there's something that is... I don't think he's disrespecting Hobart. I don't think he's disrespecting Taz in any way, shape, or form. But he's saying Wombat lives indoors. And I think that more so links onto his next statement. He only ever goes outside for gigs and tours. Or as the Aussie man would say, tours. Tours. Going on tour. Not tours. And that sparked a very interesting thought. Again, love Wombat. No disrespect to Wombat. But am I right in saying that, yeah, Wombat has done plenty of shows and gigs and tours recently, but hasn't done so many things such as freestyles or cyphers or radio? I don't know. Am I missing something personally? Obviously, he's working on an album right now. He's working with some UK artists as well. He's working on things. So maybe he's looking to cut, as we're into the final quarter of the year now, I'm assuming he's looking to just make a big statement in the final quarter. Maybe he's trying to make the end of 2019 his year, or maybe he's just gearing up to have a big start to the year 2020, big start to the decade. Maybe that's what he's doing, and if so, I can't be mad at that. Every artist, some artists are just active all year round. You have someone like a Cursor who drops an album near enough every year. You have someone like a Mitchos that drops tracks just 24/7 constantly. And then there's artists that, you know, take a couple years off, they make a plan, they build up, and they drop something big, and they take a big step. So rather than taking small steps constantly, they build up and they really jump with 2 feet and leap forward in their career. And I feel like maybe that's what Wombat's doing. So, you know, a way that an artist is going to eat is shows. It's either album sales or shows. And unless you are a AAA titled artist, you're not really eating off of album sales like that. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if Drake drops an album, he can eat for a whole year or two off of that money from the album, according to his spending life, you know? And so The only other way really is shows. So I can't blame Wombat for doing shows and tours, because at the end of the day, that is how an artist eats. I don't think you can ever be mad at that. There's only so much money in music, and although there is becoming more and more in the Aussie scene, you know, it's not there yet. There's only going to be a select few man that can do this thing full time without having to work, you know. Believe it or not, most of the artists you listen to in the Australian scene actually have jobs. Why? Because money doesn't come as easy as you think in the music business. A track can have millions of views and they've not made millions of dollars off this. Like, you've got to realize this. There's only a select few men that are really eating full time off of the music thing. Obviously, America have had it for a while now, and there's plenty of artists in America that can. The UK have obviously only built that over the last 5 years or so. And the Australia scene is getting there, and it will be there, where more and more artists will be eating off this thing full time. But right now, that's not there. So going for gigs and tours and shows, I don't think is a bad thing. A man's got to eat at the end of the day. I don't know if Wombat does work, like, would you, in air quotes, a normal job in his own time. I don't know this. But if he isn't, then yeah, that is his job at the end of the day. And he enjoys performing. You know, he enjoys doing shows. He enjoys this shit. So, you know, it could just be out of his own personal interest of wanting to do it. It's for the fans, should you say. And then props to the kings in the game, that's mine, referencing himself, Wrighty. And then all of the kids, that's yours. So, I mean, I don't know if that was specific to Wombat or if that was specific to all of these artists, but he's saying, look, for all of the heads that are true to this thing, all of the people behind the scenes, all the people that have really been about, that props goes to me. Like, I am respected by the real dons in the scene, the people who really matter, and all of the kids that are just Instagram fucking warriors that are following along. That's all of your fans. And that can be partly true without it being disrespectful to the artists. Like, yes, some of the older heads, the people who really been following this thing for a while, may follow Wrighty because Wrighty isn't as popular as some of these other artists. He's not popular than any of these other artists. He may be more respected by some people behind the scenes than one or two of these artists. But if we're talking about the Australian scene, whether that's drill, rap, grime, trap, fucking, I don't care, jazz, the Kenyan roots, okay? If you look at the fans of all of these, man, and all of these different subgenres of rap, let's say it's 5 million people. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. Let's say it's 5 million people. 1 million on drill, 1 million on grime, 1 on rap. Get the idea. That is every single loosely following fan. For example, I am heavily invested in the scene. I try and check out as much shit as I possibly can, from the people who are uploading freestyles that get 300 views to the people who are doing international shit getting 300,000. There are other people, someone like Spyro, good friend of mine, Spy. He loosely follows the scene. He'll check out something if it's trending. He'll be like, oh yeah, I seen the Chillin' It Fire in the booth, or I seen the 1-4 Lads in the Hood track, things like that. But he won't follow if Monk drops a freestyle. He ain't dropping Greasy when he drops. He ain't following, you know, Sunnah when he drops a freestyle. You know, like that. And so there's different levels of attention and people who really are invested. There's different levels of investment as a fan. You can't be mad at someone for just following one or two artists. Ah, yeah, I listen to Cursor. I might listen to a Hilltop Hoods and that. But that's it. I don't listen to none of these new man. Can't be mad at that. They're still following the scene in some way, shape, or form. They are following the artist in some way, shape, or form. Now, if we take that, how much of a percentage is the younger generation and the kids? At least 3 million plus. At least 4 million plus. 60 to 80% of the scene are these kids. You've got to understand, they are the people that are now hopping on this wave. They are hopping on these trends. Given, more of them may be heavier on the drill side than the grime side. That's given. Alright? And so, yeah, if we look at the age demographic for someone like 1-4 versus the age demographic for someone like Fracture, it's going to be massively different. Yes. But at the end of the day, they're putting time and attention into the Oz scene. And so when you talk about Nerve, Chilling It, Shadow, Wombat, and let's say Wombat in specific here, because I think this is who it's being aimed at, when he says that all of the kings in the game, that's mine, that's people behind the scene, that's people who have been following the scene for a while, versus the 12-year-old who's recently seen Chilling It and Wombat underrated, or they recently checked out my reaction and was like, let me go check out more music from these artists. Yeah, there's gonna be more kids checking it out. That's gonna happen. In the UK, most of the drill fans in the UK are people under the age of 16. They're not old enough to legally buy a blade. They're not old enough to legally drink or smoke. Yet, they're the ones following drill music, primarily. There are people in their 30s following drill, of course there is. But majority of it are teenagers sitting on Instagram looking at clips of people getting batted up. And so, I don't think you can hate on an artist having a younger demographic as their followers, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are in this internet age. You know, 10 years ago it was a different time. Having to burn your tracks onto a disc and try to sell your mixtape in person for $5 a pop, that is different. That is a different kind of hustle to people putting up freestyles on Instagram, putting it on public hashtags, and DMing 100 people a night saying, check out my freestyle, do you want to collab? It's a different kind of hustle. And although some of the older people may hate on the younger one, and some of the younger ones hate on the older man for hating their kind of hustle, it's what you've got. I would be stupid to try and share my reaction videos by standing outside Camden Town a tube station and being like, oh, here's a card with the link to my YouTube channel, just type that in and go check it out. No, I'm gonna sit in my room, I'm gonna make good content, and it's naturally gonna spread. If I wanted to, not that I have done, especially with the reaction side of things anyway, but I used to do this when I was doing gaming content. Yeah, I used to DM people being like, look, my content's similar to yours, by the way, I think your content's dope, check out mine. I went through that same hustle in less of a spammy way, because I know some people just copy and paste the same message. Like I used to go and comment on people's videos, not even saying check out my shit, just commenting something genuine of their content. I see artists doing this all the time on Instagram. I talk about Instagram so much, by the way, because it's the only platform I now use. I don't use Snapchat, I don't really use Twitter, I don't use Facebook, never have done, so I can only really speak about Instagram, hence why I bring it up so much. I see people going onto other people's pages and commenting something genuine, like, the flow's dope, or I know that instrumental, or yeah, I caught that bar there, and not so much even saying check out my shit. But I know that that's their marketing strategy, because if you get a genuine comment and you don't know who they are, sometimes you're tempted to pre-up their profile. Sometimes you're tempted, oh, who's this? You go pre-up their profile, you go pre-up their shit. You get the idea. It's a smart marketing strategy. And so, we're in a different kind of age now where the hustle's different. The hustle is just different. And so, these man are going to do it different to how you man did it back in the day. That's just a fair enough statement I would like to say. Now, Sunnah. Sunnah's features in this track, and apparently he spits a recycled verse from an older track. I don't know what track this is. I don't know whether I've heard it and just don't remember it, or whether it's a smaller, lesser known track. I don't know. Can someone comment below what track he's recycled that verse from? Now, if so, if Sunnah has recycled this track, or recycled this verse, why is he on the track? Because he doesn't personally send for these, man. It's just like he's co-signing what Wrighty's saying. Now, I understand Wrighty made the comment towards Chilling It blue, but he stolen next man's flow, come into a town near you, that's an A-Dot tribute show. He's accusing Chilling It of stealing A-Dot's flow. Now, Sunnah's A-Dot's boy, they're boys of each other, I get that. Is he there just to co-sign that comment? Where does Sunnah fit in with all of this? Was Sunnah just happened to be there with Wrighty that day and he did it, and he was just like, yeah, fuck it, just spit a 16 while you're on the track? That's where I don't know where Sunnah's involvement is on this. Is he dissing the artist himself? Did he know that he was gonna? I don't know. where Sunnah stands on this. I would like to speak to, if Sunnah ever listens to this, or someone clips this and sends this to Sunnah, where was Sunnah's involvement on this? Where does he stand? Is he sending for these artists? Is he down to clash himself? I don't actually know. It's quite an interesting one. I don't know. So that was just a quick one there, but I want to play a clip now from the actual video that he put up when the bars are finished and he wants to speak afterwards, because I feel like there's a lot to speak about in what he says. So I'm going to just play the clip here.
Look, facts is facts. Rappers talk shit behind each other's backs, and they go on Instagram and they stand in the photo and they tag each other and they share each other's shit in a big fucking circle jerk. Yeah, fucking show each other's shit around, boys. Your whole Instagram feed's just sharing each other cunt shit. You all bitch behind each other's back. You've all got clash in your bars. Everyone, oh, clash this, oh, clash that. Oh, spin man, oh, clash man. Oh, spin man, oh, clash man. Oh, spin man, oh, clash man. Only clash there's ever been was 2013. Because the Melbourne boys had the balls to come to Sydney, and the Sydney boys had the balls to go to Melbourne in 2013. Other than that, there's been no clashes. So you want to look at grime scene, there's tracks, obviously, Cup's got grime tracks, alright? There's radio sets, I win. P.S. I win, 3 wheels. I mean, who's counting? But 3, 1, none. So let's just settle that there. There's sends and clashes. No one wants to send and clash. There's raves. Guys go to raves. Guys want to fucking get up and fucking get wheel up in the raves and fucking jerk off. But no one wants to send. No one wants to clash. It doesn't need to be fucking violence and fucking this and that if you don't want to be. But if you want to talk clash, let's go. Go on then. Want to clash? Go on then. Go on then. All you boys got fucking clash and sends and clash. Go on then. Go on then. Fucking go on then.
Alright, so we'll leave that there. So I've kind of bullet pointed what the statements that he's made here, and I feel like it's very interesting because there's a lot of truth to what he's saying, and there's some things that I'm not saying aren't true, but I just want to debate a little bit. Let me get a drink of water. So I mean, rappers talk shit behind each other's backs. Facts. That happens. Facts. Some of these men aren't as friendly with each other as you may think. I know this. By speaking to certain artists themselves, I know this. Cool. That's called playing the game. That's called picking your fights. That's called picking your moments. That is right. They go on Instagram, they stand in each other's photos, and they tag in each other's shit. Given. Yep, that is a black and white fact. Artists do take pictures with each other and they tag each other in each other's shit. How many of them take photos with each other and dislike each other? I don't know. There's been one or two that has. Which I can't say. But for the most part, I don't know. Because we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know people's personal vendettas. We don't know what people's personal beef is with each other. There are certain artists that do not like each other. But still play the game of being cool with each other in public. And I feel like that's okay. I don't feel like there's too much wrong in that. Instagram feeds of sharing each other's shit. That's not a bad thing in my opinion. I feel like people sharing each other's work and albums and projects and songs and features and moments. I feel like that's only a good thing. I feel like that just spreads positivity in the scene. I would say out of the US, UK and Oz scene, I would say the Oz scene is most together. I feel like the Oz scene is most willing to share each other's shit and are most likely to support each other. And I think that just comes from being a smaller scene, more of a community feel to it. I feel like as the scene grows, I feel like that will slowly spread apart. But I feel like if he's referencing people sharing each other's shit when you dislike them, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And I don't know how many people actually do that either. And so I don't know how many people really do hate each other. I know of a couple instances, but I don't know of everyone's personal beef. I don't know that. That's down to them. I only talk to so many people, and I try not to pry into people's business. If someone tells me something in confidence themselves, that's for me to keep to myself. All you got is clash in your bars. You'll spin, man. You'll clash, man. You'll spin, man. You'll clash, man. Yeah. This is the one where there's a lot of truth to it. There is plenty of people talking about spinning man and clashing man when they don't actually clash. I was actually having a chat with Spyro recently, my boy Spyro, recently about this, how I've got spinning and clashing bars in my bars. I talk about spinning and clashing, man, and I ain't had a proper clash ever. I've had competition on a friendly level of like, oh yeah, go on then, let's go bar for bar and see who goes harder. I've done that. I've done my own personal rap battles and things like that, but I've never been at a proper event and done this thing, you know, like that. I've never been in a room where man are spinning and clashing. And so, yeah, am I slightly hypocritical in that way? Yeah, I'd say so. Like, I'm bad for that, to be fair. Not to say that I'm not down to do it, though. Like, I am down to clash. Out of sport, I'm down to clash. Fuck it. Nerve. Shadow, chill. Wombat, send for man. I dare ya. Alright? I'm down to clash. Out of sport. Out of no personal hate for people. It was only when I was first new to the Oz scene that Kresnik was talking shit. And I was like, come on then. Either send for man or shut up. And yeah, we put our beef aside. And it weren't real. It was him pissing about. And I'm going to come to that later on. I am going to bring that situation back up later on in this podcast. But, you know, I was down to clash. I was down to start sending for man. And so, yeah, these artists may be in the same boat. They're down to spin. They're down to send for man. They're down to do diss tracks. They're down to do battle rap or grime clashes. But maybe the chance hasn't arisen yet. This is their chance now. If you want to do it, if you really want to do it, you're going to do it now. And then he says that the only clash that there's ever been was back in 2013. Melbourne boys versus Sydney boys. I don't know too tough about that situation. So if anyone has followed the scene or has followed a situation like that, give me some background in the description below. That would be a useful one. And then there's tracks. Of course, people do tracks. There's radio sets. Of course, people do radio sets. Which he says that he's the best at. And then he goes on to say that no one wants to send, no one wants to clash. Wombat replied straight away. Wombat replied within, 24 hours, 48 hours on Instagram. And, you know, I won't go through everything of his. I can't play the clip because I haven't got it. But he basically says you're the definition of average. You'd be better if you was active. I'm working with legends like Devlin and Sir Spyro. So not my boy Spyro, Sir Spyro, sounds of the Sir. Which some people got confused. Some people hit me up and hit Spyro up himself and was just like, you're working on a track Wombat. I'm like, that's Sir Spyro. Shout out Sir Spy because he did a recent track with Stormzy, Sounds of the Skeng, and that was a big shout out for him in particular because he's been a legend in grime. And Devlin himself also a legend in grime, so wishing the best of Wombat working with those UK man. And he basically goes on to say, you're average, you're washed up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And so Wombat replies straight away, which implies Wombat is down. Wombat is down to send. And Wombat's working on an album right now. So he's looking to put that album aside to start sending. That shows hunger in my opinion. Chill took to Insta and said, not in a freestyle, but said on an Instagram live, I believe it was, you're doing this to revive your career, you're doing it for clout, you're washed up, you've never had a hit song, period. Whew, hits deep. You hate to see kids half your age doing their thing. Possibly true. It's not for the culture. Being the first one to do something for your country, making an album for your fans is for the culture. And it leads me on to this question. What is for the culture? Because people love dropping that one. They love it. They love dropping the whole, yeah, I'm doing this for the culture. Now, when Chill makes a statement, being the first to do something for your country and making an album for your fans is for the culture, that is prime, the easiest statement for Chillin' It to make. That is the safest thing that Chillin' It can say. Why? Because Chill was the first Aussie man to do UK shit like a fire in the booth. Chill is currently making an album and is one of the few artists that has made an album for his fans. So it's very, very easy and very, very safe for Chillin' It to say that. That makes people go, yeah, Chill, you're right. Oh, weren't you one of the people that were one of the first to do something for your country? Oh, aren't you working on an album right now and have an album already, Women, Weed and Wordplay? It's easy for Chill to say that statement. Is there truth behind it? Of course there is. But it's very safe and easy for Chill to say that. I feel like the only other people that can really step into that boat with Chill is Hilltop Hoods, Cursor, maybe Bliss and Esso. there's only a bag of man that can really, really step into that. I'm the first to do something for the country, and I'm making an album for my fans. There's only a select few man that can really step into the for the culture category by the definition of chill. And so that leads me to the question. I want you to answer it in the comment section. What is doing something for the culture? What is being for the culture? What is for the culture? You know, it's such an open-ended question, and I feel like there's no right or wrong answer, but I feel like there's going to be plenty of opinions on that. So I don't want to talk too tough. I want to see what you man say about that, because what I think just doing something for the culture is just anything that you're doing out of love for the music instead of your own personal benefit. Not to say that something can't personally benefit you and it be for the culture, but it has to, you have the music's best interest in mind rather than your own personal gain. I'd say that's my definition of for the culture, and I know that's a little bit of a cop-out answer because it's so open-ended, but it's an open-ended question as well. So I don't know, I feel like that's a very interesting topic, and that's why I want an artist on here to talk with and ask them that question themselves. Wrighty also commented, I believe this was on Instagram afterwards, and he called Mitros the Menace, he called Mitros a snitchos. And I don't know if this is because, I don't know the full reasons why, and it's why I want to talk with Mitros, because was this because he commented on Wombat's thing saying, yeah, go get him? Is this because he aired DMs with an artist? Was this, I don't know what this was over, but I know it was taken very personally by Mitros to be called that. And I know they aired their DMs on Instagram, they hashed it out, despite Mitros still being quite offended by that comment. He's like, all right, I'll like, you're my boy, like, but I am still quite offended by what you said, despite Wrighty openly apologizing, publicly apologizing about that, and they kind of hashed that out, despite Mitchell still saying, all right, we've hashed it out, you said you're sorry, but I'm still quite offended by that. Wrighty shared my reaction to the track on his Instagram and said it was spot on. He says, like, this sums it up, and he took a minute clip from when I was breaking it down at the end, talking about, I don't think this is out of hate, I feel like this is for sport, it's rap culture to talk about being the best, and you know, it's just part of rap culture, let alone specific to grime. So, you know, to conclude, I feel like this whole situation isn't out of hate. I do still believe it's out of sport. Do I believe it could get personal? Yes. Do I believe that people have personal vendettas against each other and this could bring it out? Yes. And that's why I want to see it. I don't want there to be violence, right? He said it himself. He goes, there don't have to be violence. There don't have to be fucking gang shit and road shit involved. But come on, if you're going to talk about being the best, if you're going to talk about sending and spinning, man, come on then. Let's see you send and spin for, man. All the hate that Wrighty's getting, I feel like, is undeserved. In my opinion, I feel like he's just trying to spark controversy. However, I feel like comes with the territory of what he's starting. If I, out of nowhere, sent a diss track for Chilling It, I'm gonna cop hate. Why? Because there's people who love Chilling It, and they just don't want to hear people talk badly about him. So I'm gonna cop hate no matter what. If I sent a diss track for fucking, I don't know, fucking Hilltop Hoods for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm gonna cop hate by Hilltop Hoods fans. Why? Because, yeah. Same way that there's going to be people that back me no matter what, because they don't like Hilltop Hood, so they didn't like Chilling It. So they're going to just automatically side with me. The enemy of my enemy is your friend or whatever. And so no matter what, situations like this are going to have people on your side that are biased towards you, and there's going to be people on the other side of things that are biased against you. So yeah, just let me know what you think down in the comment section below about what you think about this situation, because there's a lot to talk about, and I feel like as the weeks progress, by the time I upload this, by the time you're watching this, maybe a few days after it's uploaded, the whole situation has changed. So I do want to get an artist on here, so go and DM, go comment, go tag an artist that you want to see me do the podcast with, whether that be one of the artists that's mentioned here or just someone from the grime scene in general that may have a respected opinion on the whole situation. Sorry about that, I just had to sort something out. Okay, so yeah, addressing hate on a recent video of mine. I did a showing Oz drill / rap video part 4 and part 5, which was recorded in one sitting. It was with Spiral, it was with Zach. And that video, especially the part 5, got a shitload of hate. And I shouldn't really have to explain myself, But man is gonna just have a, what am I gonna put? A constructed rant. Okay? First off, the audio was shocking on that video. It was shocking, and I did my best to try and clean it up, but it was still shocking. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a wire loose, or if there was a setting that bugged out, or what. Like, it was left as it normally was. If anything, I turned the sensitivity down because I know that we're going to be louder. But it's still fucked up somehow. So cool. The audio was shocking. I was going to scrap that video, but it was so good, in my opinion, that I wanted to put it up. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I know the audio is abysmal, but the video is that good. I have to upload it. And I had such a good feeling about it. When I did showing Aus/Grime part 1, 2, and 3 with Spyro, people seemed to enjoy it. And they enjoyed the humor. You know, that's something that I've started to include more so recently in my reactions. More naturally than anything, to be fair. I don't feel like I force it in any way, shape, or form. Of course, I know when I'm saying shit to be funny, but if you know me as a person, I say dumb shit all the time. Like, I will literally say your nan wears shin pads to a wedding. I don't care. Like, your dad wears T90s with jeans. I don't care. Like, I'll say dumb shit all the time, alright? And so, yeah, am I saying it to be funny? Sometimes, yes. Like, let's be real. I know that I'm trying to be funny, and I'm aware of this. But I'm not exactly putting it on for the sake of being funny. I'm not trying to be funny, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be funny whilst not trying to be funny. Hope you guys understand. Now, people were just saying, why are you pausing the video? Just react to it. Oh, you man are joking about too much. And that's a fair enough comment. That is a fair enough point. If you want a constructive reaction where I listen to the whole track, 4 of the 5 tracks I reacted to over the space of those 2 parts, part 4 and 5, 4 out of those 5 tracks, I have a full reaction on YouTube for. Like, I have a reaction where I listen to the whole song and I give my thoughts and opinions constructively. So if you wanted that side of things, the videos are on my channel, big man. If you want to listen to the song, go listen to the song, big man. If you're watching my reaction with these, man, this is how we are. We say dumb shit all the time. We piss about all of the time. That's how I am with these, man. And so, when we keep it organic and natural in a video, people are mad at it. So what? You wanted me to edit in the parts that were boring. Because, let's be real, if I kept that as a full reaction... By the way, we spent an hour and 45 minutes recording that. An hour and 45 minutes in between some of the little intermissions of people going toilet and us reacting to the track, listening to the track. Big man. Unless you want to see 3 people going like that in between, that's cool. I could have included that, but I didn't really feel the point to include that. If you want a serious reaction, go watch my reaction, my individual reaction. This was more of the humorous take. This isn't necessarily even a reaction. It was more so a podcast episode with visuals to music. I left in some of the constructive points. I left in some of the more thoughtful things to be said. And then people are like, why are you trying to break it down when you're taking the piss? But then I've got people saying, why are you taking the piss when we want to hear you break it down? You can't please everyone. And I understand that you can't please everyone. Now, here's the thing that gets me. Some people, and it is only some, let me keep this in mind. There was a lot of hate on that video. There was a lot of people who also defended myself and Spyro and Zach in the comments. And people who DM me saying they fucking loved that video. That was one of their favorite videos. Because they loved the humor. They loved the more relaxed vibe. They loved the, you know what? There's just no rules. Millwall to the lot of it. Now, one thing that was said that really did spin my head was, you're taking the piss out of our culture by joking around. You're taking the piss out of our culture, out of Australian culture, out of Australian rap culture by joking around so much. When certain artists in the scene added me on Instagram and was like, Chazza is a cringe cunt, or Chazza don't know what the fuck he's talking about. when that happened on social media, Chaz, it's just Aussie banter. When Kresnik was taking the piss out of me, when Krez took the piss out of me, Aussie banter. When I got my back up about it, when I was like, you know what, you want to take the piss? Fucking send for man or fuck off, innit? I got my back up. And everyone was like, nah, it's Aussie banter. It's just Aussies bantering the way Aussies do. I was like, you know what? Alright, fair enough. I'm a lay back a little bit. It's just people taking the piss. And I've been able to accept that. I've been able to take it not personally and accept it as joking around. But when I piss about in way more respectful way than some of these man did, I haven't straight out said fuck HP boys or fuck 1-4 or fuck hooks. I've not said any of that. I actually said, you know what? I'ma take the piss, I'ma joke about with nothing personal towards them, without me disrespecting them. Yeah, I'm out of order. But when you man want to say, fuck you, you cunt, what, it's Aussie banter now? Keep the same energy. If we want to start saying it's disrespectful to take the piss out of someone, then cool. Don't take the piss out of someone. In UK culture, you don't really fuck about like that. Hence why I got my back up so quickly in the first place. If Skepta turned around and went, Stormzy, fuck you. Not that it would ever happen, but if Stormzy turned around to Skepta and went, fuck you, them man would have their back up. It wouldn't be, it's just pommy banter. It's just UK banter. No, man will be ready to send for man. Aussie culture was described to me differently. Nah, we can fuck about like that. We can actually take a joke, Chaz. You just can't take a joke because you're pommy. Yet, when I joke about the crepes that man's wearing, when they're taking the piss by wearing them in the first place, it's disrespectful. Oh, you're taking the piss because of how they film the videos. 1 minute. How many people have mocked UK man for doing the same shit? Now, I'm not making this an Oz versus UK or UK versus Oz thing. I'm not doing that. Massively respect UK culture as being from it, and I massively respect Oz culture. I've taken such an interest in your culture. I've taken such an interest with you as a country, outside of rap as well. People just living normal lives. I've taken an interest in some of the most hood shit that people have described to me. And I've tried to understand it, and I've tried to look into it so that I don't come across as disrespectful by being ignorant. People tell me to stop apologizing for not knowing something. I apologize because I should know that by now. Or maybe I should have looked into it more. That's the angle I'm taking. As someone who's been following the scene for 1.5 years, I'm trying to understand it more than most people. Yet there's people that have been following the scene all their life, or 10 years now, yet have less knowledge than me, yet want to disrespect man when I'm trying to take an interest, when I'm trying to learn about it. And so, if you want to say, don't take the piss, keep that same energy then. Don't take the piss out of me. You want to take the piss out of me? Fine, go for it, big man. I've learned to accept this now. But then don't do the same when I banter around when watching a video. Which, furthermore, let me just emphasize this point. I'm not even taking the piss out of the artists. I'm just joking about in general. By calling drill the Kenyan waltz. How is that disrespecting Australian people? Explain. And so, you can clearly see that I could rant about this in a way more angry way. I was ready to take to socials. I was ready to go off. And so I just wanted to defend myself a little bit there, because I feel like some people, not everyone, there was plenty of people that backed me, and love and respect to you, man. There was plenty of people that defended me, but there was some people that wanted to say those comments, and I just want them to keep the same energy. That's all. And so it was more of a fuck about. I could have edited that video differently. As I said, I could have kept in more of the serious parts, and it would have been a 10-minute video of me reacting to 5 tracks with Spyro and Zach. And so, yeah, just shut up. How about that? How about that, big man? How about shut up? All right. And so, yeah, it just baffles me that people want to see something boring. Like, people just sitting there going like that. And then going, oh, yeah, like, comment, and subscribe at the end of the video. That's not me. That's never been my channel. So don't ask me to start doing that. If you don't like the video, click off of it. It's just that age-old saying of, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And so, yeah, I felt like I just had to defend myself there. But, yeah, thank you to the ones who are supporting. Thank you to the ones that are just open-minded. Some people are like, Chaz, the audio was fucked, it was unwatchable. Or some people was like, you know what, I didn't enjoy it, it was unwatchable, don't want to watch it. Fair enough. Don't watch it, that's fine, big man. Thank you for clicking on it in the first place. Thank you for being subscribed in the first place and actually trying to watch my content. Thank you for giving it a go. You know, but just for the people who are just like, oh, I've not even watched the full video yet, I'm already wanting to unsubscribe. Like, that... Well done, you got one of the top comments. Well done, you've achieved something. And so, yeah, I'm going to stop before I start really going off. But, yeah, thought I had to address that. So, talk to me about the Grime situation. Talk to me about people sending for each other. Talk to me about what you think. And like I said, just get... I just want to chat to some of these, man. I want to get some thoughts and opinions on this. I want to get a talking point around Grime. I want to get more of a focus on it in general, because I feel like it can only benefit people in the long term. So yeah, appreciate you guys for following the podcast. Thank you for the people who watched the podcast. If you watched the entire podcast, can you comment below the Kenyan Waltz? Hashtag Kenyan Waltz or the Kenyan Waltz, either one. Let's see what real ones we've got. Let's see what real Donnies are really checking out the podcast like that. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll talk to you, man, later.